Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, depending on your location on this wonderful Sunday afternoon, morning, evening. Tonight or this morning, afternoon, I'm sharing the platform with my friend Karina. Karina is from Virginia. I'm going to be speaking to the topic leadership and purpose. Leadership and purpose. This is Leadership Talk with Adegoke podcast. It's also on YouTube platforms as well. This is the 36th episode of Leadership Talk with Adegoke. It's such a privilege and honor speaking to you in all your locations from all over the world. So we're just going to jump right in. Karina, trust you well?
I am well, Adegoke. How are you?
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Awesome. Now, tell us, Karina, who is Karina?
Ooh, who is Karina? Karina is, let's see, what's the good stuff? The good stuff. Karina is currently living in Richmond, Virginia, as you said. I am doing life with my husband and my best friend, and we've been married for 10 years. And I am from Fayetteville, North Carolina. I lived
Yeah.
in Charlotte, North Carolina for 17 years, moved here to Richmond, Virginia at the direction of God in 2009. And just doing what I need to be doing as far as my purpose. I am currently in my purpose. So that is who I am.
Excellent, excellent. Leadership Talk with Adegoke is an awesome program. We've had so many powerful people on this podcast, and it's touched so many lives. And tonight promises to be awesome, particularly in the area of purpose. I mean, a lot of people start off in life doing so many things, but they do it out of purpose and out of alignment. So, Karina is going to be speaking to that area powerfully tonight. Karina, tell us your journey into leadership. How did you get into leadership?
Well, I got into leadership years ago. I was really running from the call of leadership, not really wanting to be in it. I started first in management. I'm sure you'll agree, Adegoke, that there is a true difference between management, managing bodies, and actual leadership.
Yeah.
And so I started in management, and not too terribly long after that, I realized that wasn't what I wanted to be doing while I was in corporate America. I did not like the idea of managing bodies or only managing bodies. In our jobs in corporate America, you do have to have that sense of management systems and processes and making sure people are going in the right direction as
Yeah.
far as that's concerned. But I wanted to move away from that, not altogether, but I wanted to begin to help people along their journey. And
Okay.
that's when I began to really understand that there's a difference, like I said, in management and leadership. So I began that trail of that journey of really helping people to define who they are and where they want to be and how do they get there. So that's how I kind of fell into leadership, just because I know that was the purpose that was guiding me at that time.
Awesome. Awesome. Amazing. Now, for me, I've been in leadership for a while, and it's been a journey of sacrifice. But I always believe that you can't give what you don't have. Basically, a lot of people are out there, and leading powerful teams, but if you're not able to discover yourself, I mean, lead yourself, to be a challenge for you to lead others. Now, I want you to speak to this. What's the uh, similarity between leadership and purpose?
Absolutely. It is huge. It is monumental. If you don't know what your purpose is, then leadership really is a moot point, because when you are fully in your purpose, you know that that is your destiny. You
Okay.
know that that is where the impact that you're supposed to be bringing is going
Okay.
to reside, and you're able to really hone in on that place of purpose within you. Actually,
Okay.
what is it that is going to bring the greatest impact for you and for the people that are connected to you. And so when you mix that with leadership, it makes you well rounded, and it helps to bring that true essence of leadership with the people that you're leading, really.
So are you saying that you can't lead without a purpose?
I'm gonna say, I'm gonna go out on a limb here, and I'm gonna say, if you're leading without a purpose, you're just managing, and that's just my own belief. You're only managing if you're leading without a purpose.
Wow, that's awesome. Awesome. I mean, my own mentor, John C. Maxwell, I'm a John Maxwell team, have been privileged to be there. And John would tell us that leadership is influence, nothing more, nothing less. And Miles Morrow said that leadership is a profession. Do you believe that? That leadership is a profession?
I believe leadership is a profession, but I also believe you're called to it. That
Okay.
people are called to it. And I do believe, though, that there are some that have the capacity to learn it, to really learn it, and not having been called to it.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm going to jump right in quick into more detail very shortly. But our leaders, the difference leadership, um, are leaders born or made?
Well, that kind of goes with what I just said. You certainly, you can be born a leader. I believe those of us like myself and you, we're born leaders because there's that call that we have been, that has been graced over us, and we've answered. But then there's also some folks that actually learn how to lead, which is fine. In my opinion, it doesn't really matter as long as the end result is you're leading the people impactfully.
Wow, impactfully. Impact is the word. I love that word. When I see a lot of people lead in the marketplace, I see different types of leadership. There's leadership just because either it's positional, but there's leadership that is legacy driven. And I'm sure that's why you're here tonight, because I want to salute you. You're speaking. If you just joining us, I've been speaking with Karina. Karina is a powerful woman speaking to the area of leadership and purpose this moment. And I just want to ask, what's the major challenge of leadership even now with COVID?
I believe the major challenge of leadership specifically now is really people not being distracted by what I like to call these sideshows that pop up, you know.
Okay.
And so when they pop up, we have to be able to focus straight
Okay.
ahead and continue to move straight ahead. And so I really believe a lot of the distractions are the challenges that true leaders are having right now. And not to say that, it makes them any less of a leader, but I believe that's one of the challenges that people are facing now.
Now, what sort of challenges would you, I mean, can you just mention one or two? Is it in terms of, uh, even in terms of mental health, wellness, can you just speak to one or two challenges? Because if you want to lead with purpose, like you said, the challenges that prop up, but what are one or two challenges that you can mention very quickly?
I would say I agree with you as far as the mental health being stable. One of the other things that I see a lot, and as I'm sure you and many of your listeners, our listeners would agree with, is provision.
Hmm.
Provision, whatever it is, whether it's monetary, whether it's materials, whatever the case may be. But provision is one of the distractions that people are facing right now.
Wow, wow. I know in the US, and even in other countries, a lot of women that are leaders, in the marketplace are having to scale back because they have to take care of the families. Can you speak to that?
And that's one of the things that is fairly new here in our societies, whether it's the United States or any other society, I believe, because so many women have been pushing forward in the forefront of things, but this has caused a lot of women to really pull back, as you said, to scale back. And I think that's something that's one of the reasons why I'm so adamant to reach as many women as possible.
Yeah.
Just because that mental distraction can be there, the provisional distraction can be there, but it doesn't make us any less
Okay.
because we have to do that. You know, it's a part of who we are. Now, certainly, I'm not saying that we have to be gender role specific, you
Yeah.
know, but really focusing in on what do we need to do as a team to take care of our families.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, I want you to speak to this. What's the benefit of a leader working on the purpose or having a purpose? What's the
Oh,
benefit?
I love that question. What is the benefit of a leader walking in their purpose? They walk in their purpose, uh, not sidetracked.
Hmm.
Not sidetracked. They're able to really pinpoint the direction that they're supposed to go in, and
Okay.
and strategize how to get from point A to point B.
Hmm.
And so I really believe that that is the key when we're able to really walk in our purpose, because again, if you are a leader and you don't have a purpose, then you're really just managing bodies, you're managing processes, you're
Yeah.
managing systems. That's it. That's
Wow.
it.
Wow. Wow. Awesome. Awesome. Now, what's the consequence of a leader? I want to repeat that again because you've given us some clarity. But what's the consequence of a leader not having a purpose?
Not having a purpose. What is the consequence of a leader not having a purpose
Yeah.
is, um, I believe it is failed impact.
Wow.
Failed
Wow.
impact. I would say it's failed impact.
Wow. Wow. I know that for quite some time, in my early years, I wasn't called into leadership, just like the average person. Maybe I was a bit disillusioned. I was just going through life and the journey of life. I had no mentors, and I just trying to find my way, but I didn't really have clarity. I was working in an organized environment, but I must say that it affected me because my growth was stalled. And fortunately for me, I got into contact with some people. I submitted myself to validation, in terms of making myself open, and it really helped me to pivot. And that's why I'm showing up tonight with yourself. I mean, speaking into so many lives, even at a time like this, with true leadership, with Adegoke. Now, what are some of the strategies that a leader can use purpose to win followership? In what ways can a leader use purpose to attract followership?
Well, they can attract followers by using purpose. They can attract leaders by using their authenticity first and foremost. That's one of the
Okay.
things that I really try to push with leaders of all types. When you are authentic, you're able to really gain that fellowship. Also, you're able to really hone in on what those followers really need. So
Okay.
those are some of the benefits. You're able to really pull out what the followers need, not just out of yourself for them, but
Okay.
pull out of them what needs to be pulled out of them so that they can, as I tell people, go be great.
Well, I mean, I also want to speak to this area. Leadership without sacrifice is taking a walk in the park. Because when you identify your purpose, even as a leader, it takes great sacrifice to see to walk through that journey. Can you speak to the area of sacrifice?
Oh man, sacrifice is necessary in leadership. You cannot have true leadership without sacrifice. You have to be willing to sacrifice sometimes your emotions,
Okay.
you have to be willing to sacrifice some of your thoughts and concepts, because your thoughts and concepts as a leader may not always be the right one, or
Hmm.
it may not be the most purposeful one at that moment. There may be people around you that may have better thoughts and ideas. And so there's tons of sacrifices that as leaders we have to make, and re- really digging deep into that is necessary. It's necessary.
Wow, amazing. Now, how the culture of, leadership, um, leadership with purpose. How can you begin to amplify it, to your followers? You know, um, how can you? Because sometimes you have followers that cannot really see what you're saying. Can you speak to that?
Well, first of all, I would say really make sure it's within you first.
Okay.
Make sure you know your own purpose.
Yeah.
And then as you move forward in purpose, those that cannot see the purpose and the vision that you are screaming from the mountaintop, so to speak,
Yeah.
then those people tend to fall away.
Hmm.
Okay. And then you may have some that will just stick around just because. Okay. But then you'll have those that will see exactly what you're saying, and they
Wow.
will carry it, and they will move forward with that. And so it's necessary before you even try to push that purpose out to others that you are really, I like to say, 10 toes down, standing strong
Wow. Standing
with
firm.
your own purpose. You have to know yours first. You have to absolutely, and I will say this, you have
Yeah.
to be in alignment with that purpose. You
Hmm.
can't just know it. You can't just speak it. You actually have to be in alignment with it. You
Hmm.
have to be moving in succession with it in order
Okay.
for it to be impactful.
Awesome. Awesome. Now, I just wanted you to share with us. I mean, you have a beautiful testimony. I mean, 22 years in corporate America. I mean, what caused that shift? Were you able to shift and still have relevance even as we speak?
Great question. I was in corporate America for 22 years. As you said, I was in leadership for a large percentage of that 22 years. And at some point, I knew that I was being called into entrepreneurship. And then some things transpired where I did have to leave out of corporate America, not because of my own doing. The company actually shut down in 2019. I had been there for 7 years. I was an assistant vice president in the corporation. I was over 4 departments. And so the company shut down. So that started my progression into entrepreneurship. But
Hmm.
one of the things that I want to really hone in on at Adegoke at this point is that when I was in corporate America, I felt like I needed to move into a certain arena
Okay.
while I was still in corporate America, and become a different type of coach. Right now, I'm a mindset and life coach. But
Okay.
during that time, I felt, because I had 22 years of mortgage experience, that I was supposed to be a financial coach. That
Okay.
was my passion,
Yeah.
and so I really pushed that. I tried to do that, and it didn't work for me. And
Yeah.
so I realized that it was my passion and not my purpose. And
Wow.
so one thing that I want to share with the listeners is, and I heard this recently, and it literally blew my mind,
Wow.
that when it comes to passion, when you think about the definition of passion means to suffer.
Wow.
And so when I was in my passion, I was
Wow.
suffering.
Wow.
I was suffering. It wasn't working out as well as I wanted it to work.
Hmm.
Yes, I had
Hmm.
some impact. Yes, I had some clients, but there was a level of suffering within me because
Amazing.
I was not aligned with my purpose. And so
Wow.
when I shifted into my purpose, there is a calm,
Hmm.
there is an alignment, there
Wow.
is, I know that I am extremely impactful. I
Yeah.
know that what I do and what I say is going to resonate with those that have the ear to hear.
Yeah.
And so there's a huge difference. And so I just wanted to bring that to the forefront, because we have to stop chasing the dream and
Hmm.
begin to still within our purpose. Our
Wow.
passion is not our purpose. It feels good, it sounds good to a degree, but it's not what we're supposed to be doing. So I just want to encourage those that are listening, really find out what your purpose is, because that's where your sweet spot is going to be.
Wow, wow, wow. Your sweet spot is going to be in your purpose. You're making it sound very easy, I mean, but what you said is that, behind the purpose, there must be a story. You must go through some level of discomfort. John C. Maxwell will tell you that nothing happens in your comfort zone. Everything you're going to achieve in life happens in your strength zone, which is where there's pressure. The law of a rubber band, it stretches you. Because for someone that had been in corporate America, I mean, for 22 years, doing the same job, showing up, adding value, leading people, now transiting into entrepreneurship, moving from passion to purpose. I mean, you just share with us, that it's not a walk in the park. It's a tough one, but because you already have clarity as to where you're going. For those who are just joining us, I've been speaking with Karina. Karina is from Virginia in the USA, and we're sharing the topic leadership and purpose. For those of us that are not aware of the podcast is on Spotify and also Apple Podcasts, Leadership Talk with Adegoke. And on YouTube, there's Leadership with Adegoke Omotola, Leadership with Adegoke Omotola. Now, I just want you to speak to those who um, are where you used to be. I mean, in the corporate sector. For example, some people want to transit from the corporate sector into entrepreneurship. They want to become a mindset coach. They want to be a life coach. They want to show up and empower others. What are some of the tips? Because it's not like I said, it's not a walk in the park. What are some of the tips for those that might want to transit even at this time? Speak to them all over the world. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I would say, and it's what we've been saying through this entire conversation, to really dig deep and find out what your purpose is, find out who you are authentically,
Yeah.
really peel back those layers and ensure that you are not being moved and you're not living according to other people's influences, whether
Wow.
it's family, whether it's friends, whether it's society, and
Yeah.
really take yourself through that process. Go get a life coach, go get a mindset coach so that they can walk you through that process so that you're better able to really be impactful and help those people that you want to help and provide that solution. When you do that, then you're able to at that point really pinpoint what your purpose is. You want to discover really truly what your purpose is. Again, I talked about passion and purpose. You
Yeah.
know, you may have that passion to be a mindset coach or a life coach, but that may not necessarily be your purpose. It
Yeah.
sounds good, it sounds great, but I would encourage you to really find out what your purpose is, because I will say this,
Yeah.
as you find out what your purpose is, we're all destined to link arms. And when
Hmm.
we link arms, because
Yeah.
every joint supplies, that's what the word tells me, every joint supplies. So if every joint supplies and every single person is linking arms within their own purpose, then
Absolutely.
society would be so much better. Society would be so much in alignment with what we're supposed to be doing with one another and for one another. So I would encourage you to really discover what your purpose is, because that's where we need you most.
Wow, awesome. Karina, you really dropping powerful nuggets tonight. I just want to salute you and celebrate you. You're showing up powerfully. I want to use myself as an example. 20 years ago, 21 years ago, I left the banking industry. It was tough because I just knew that, that space of, functioning was not for me. And I must tell you that, it was not easy transiting. One of the first challenges I had was financially. I wasn't getting the kind of income because I was building a brand from scratch. No one knew me. I mean, and no one was willing to take a bet, as it were, on me. What would you like to? I mean, there might be someone who's listening or might be watching the replay or listening to the podcast. What would you like to say to such people that are really scared, of taking that jump? I mean, for you, things happened. You were, you know, um, you just had to transit because you had no choice. But how about those who really want to transit? Maybe they spend a few years and just saying, "Look, I'm not. I'm just the passion is there, but the purpose is not being fulfilled." Can you speak to that?
Absolutely. I would say get a strategy, get a true strategy, begin to save your money, find out how much money it's going to take for you to live, I would say for 6 to 8 months
Okay.
without the income that you've already had. And then begin to move from there. Once you get that specific dollar amount, you're able to really pinpoint what it is you're going to need in between that time. And then also, whatever God you believe, stand on that faith. One thing that I believed during this entire time, and I've not been disappointed, is that there is provision in my purpose. And that
Wow.
is exactly what has happened. There's been
Awesome.
provision in my purpose.
Wow.
So, are things always, uh, you know, ice cream and cookies? No, not at all. But are things as they were purposed to be? Absolutely. And so that's what I move in every single day.
Yeah, well, I mean, you can say that again, but I mean, for me, one of the things that I went through was a state of shock from earning, you know, something very decent to a zero income, and particularly when you have a family. I mean, it's not always as easy as it seems because you have children, you have a wife, and and even when you save, sometimes you have all the savings. There can be sort of like a disruption, you know. But what keeps you there is what your purpose, isn't it?
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Because if the purpose is not there, that's why you find some people going back to paid employment. Can you speak to that? If it's not so strong, can you find yourself going back to your passion?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that I considered at one point in time. But
Wow.
I can be very honest with you, at a okay. I had a nauseating feeling.
Wow.
So I could not do it because my purpose was much stronger than my passion. And
Mm.
so my purpose, because I had aligned myself so tightly and
Wow.
connected so tightly with my purpose, it just
Wow.
could not happen. It could not happen.
Wow. I know a lot of people out there that you know maybe sometime in their life they had the opportunity to walk in alignment with their purpose, but because of the financial implications of going out there, I tell you, and that could be the greatest challenge, for people. When you look at particularly your mortgage, your bills, and you want to work in your purpose, and maybe 1 or 2 months the income is not coming in, you feel like going back to, and you pass the test because there's always that test, which is a teachable moment for a lot of people, where you come, to the point of saying, should I abandon my purpose or should I walk in my passion? you know, and you see a lot of people that get discouraged, particularly when they have people that have failed in achieving their purpose. Can you speak to that?
I would say, if you have felt like you have let your purpose pass you by, I would tell you that's not so,
Hmm.
because your purpose is always going to call to you.
Wow,
So
wow.
as long as you're on this side of the earth, okay, not 6 feet under, but as long as you're on this side of the earth, we
Hmm.
always have need of you in your purpose.
Wow,
Always.
wow, wow, wow. If you've just been joining us, I've been speaking with Karina. Karina is from Virginia in the USA. We're speaking on the topic leadership and purpose. When a man finds his purpose or a woman finds his purpose, you begin to work in alignment with the plan of God. Some people believe that purpose is just hype. You know, I just wanted you to talk to that. How can leadership begin to have the template of purpose ingrained in the culture of the organization?
Uh, in order to do that, now go back to, I think we had discussed this previously, is really finding out, are you yourself as the leader walking in your own purpose to
Yeah,
be able to identify with the other folks around you if they're in their purpose, and
yeah,
begin to have those really honest conversations with one another,
yeah.
talking to one another, dialoguing about what it is that they desire, what it is they feel that's calling them, and begin to have that, because that's what's going to bring that true impact to that organization.
Wow, wow. Now, I know you speak to a lot of women on the area of mindset, and because that's very important. I want you to speak to that area again, mindset. What has mindset got to do with purpose?
Mindset has everything to do with purpose, because there are situations where you may have lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem, low self-esteem, imposter syndrome, where, if for those that don't know what that is when you feel like you're going to show up and people are going to think you are a fake, and you don't feel like you are worthy. You don't feel like you
Yeah.
you don't have the sufficient knowledge or the capability to do that. And so I speak to those people, when it comes to mindset, to go ahead and nip this in the bud. We don't just push it back. Okay. We actually destroy it so that you're able to move forward full steam straight ahead into your purpose without these obstacles. Now, I'm not going to say, Adegoke, that people don't still deal with this to a certain degree even after going through it, but it's very slight. It's not going to stop them.
Hmm.
Okay, there are a lot of people that are stopped literally in their tracks right now because they're dealing with these negative mindsets that have come to really stop our purpose, to kill our purpose. And so I deal with those mindsets, those thought patterns.
Awesome, awesome. You've been listening to myself and Karina and leadership talk with Adegoke. Now, I want you to speak to this: the impact of your association on your purpose,
Say that one more time.
the impact of your relationships on your purpose in
Wow.
achieving your purpose.
So, this is one thing that I talk heavily about, because when you are in your purpose, and I use this concept, if you can imagine, when you have a bookshelf, and you have a little knickknack that you've had on the bookshelf, and you've had it there for any length of time,
Yeah,
and there's dust that begins to settle
yeah,
across that knickknack.
yeah,
And then one day you decide you're going to go and move that knickknack.
yeah,
You see dust begins to
yeah,
fly,
yeah, yeah,
and it kicks up. So I tell people that when you begin to really unveil who you are authentically,
yeah.
and you discover your purpose,
Hmm.
you've been in that stagnant space for a very, very long time. And
Hmm.
so when you begin to move forward in your purpose, a lot
Yeah,
of that debris begins to kick up.
yeah.
And that can be your relationships with family, friends, whomever.
Hmm.
And so it's the same concept, that you have been on this bookshelf for so very long. And
Hmm.
now you're moving, and all of this debris is kicking up. But you have to continue to move forward and understand that those that are supposed to be, those that have been destined to be in relationship and in alignment with you, will remain with you. Don't worry about the debris that's kicking up. It's
Hmm.
gonna happen.
Hmm.
It's gonna happen.
Hmm.
Just know that it's gonna happen. You have to set in your mind that that debris, and I'm not, don't misunderstand that I'm calling relationships debris, but it's the same concept. This dust that kicks up, it's going to kick up, but you have to have it focused in your mind that you're going to keep going regardless of what kicks up, because
Wow.
it's more important that you fulfill your destiny, your purpose, than it is for you to stay complacent in where you've been for so many years, and making sure someone else is comfortable in your in your being complacent.
Okay. Excellent. Excellent. Wow. You just been doing amazing, amazing. Now, I just want to find out. Now, the relationships, that's one side. Now, how about in terms of your knowledge in achieving your purpose? Do you need to get new knowledge?
I would say yes, you have to get new knowledge, but it's not a situation where you need to go and get a 4-year degree. You
Yeah.
know, it depends on how you are going to be relaying the information that you have. Now, I will say this, Adegoke, we cannot move forward in our purpose with the same language that we've always lived with. So we
Wow.
have to have an upgrade in the language that we have. So
Wow.
I will say that you must have an upgrade in your language. There
Wow.
may be some languages that you need to pull out.
Okay.
Okay. There may be some languages that you need to upgrade, but you
Hmm.
cannot go into your purpose with the same language. It's just impossible because what you're going to do is use the same strategies that you've always used that did not work.
Wow. Wow. I know you've spoken about language. I just want to help you to put some clarity into this because our listeners all over the world, you're trying to lock in. Now, I want to talk about in terms of your growth, when you trying to walk into your purpose or you're trying to align with your purpose, do you need new knowledge in terms of education? Do you need to get certification? Do you need to, become an expert in a particular, field so that you can, get more traction? Can you speak to that?
So I would say if you're starting out in a certain area, specifically, we'll just use coach as an example.
Yeah.
I believe that there is a certain level of new information that you will need to have. So there may be some classes, some courses that you may need to take depending on what region you're in and what's required in your jurisdiction.
Yeah.
However, I would say that when you're getting started, don't allow what we talked about, that imposter syndrome, don't allow that to kick in. Because
Okay.
what can happen is you'll begin to feel like you need something more than
Hmm.
what you already have to
Okay.
begin to help the next person that is actually connected to you. Because you have to think wherever you are, whatever space you're in, you can help someone that's behind you come up to that space. So you
Okay.
always have knowledge that can be given out to other people. But
All
do
right.
you need to really hone in on it? At some point, yes, you'll need to increase that knowledge. And how you do it is really up to you.
Wow, wow, wow. Amazing, amazing. We've been on the session for about 30 minutes and it's just about I feel like it's just about 5 minutes. I want to celebrate you. I want to salute you. You're speaking on something that is very powerful and something that a topic that we all need to you know come in alignment with purpose. It keeps on springing up. You find some people they worked in an industry for 30 years and they just say, why have I spent this time? I should have been doing this, I should be doing that. Probably I'm an engineer, I should have been a coach. Probably I'm a nurse, I should have been a lawyer. So I just want you to speak to that, for the benefit of maybe one or two people. What would you like to say to them if they feel um, a sense of loss? That they've just been there, they've not really made enough impact. What would you like to say to those who are listening all over the world to encourage them? One or two things as we begin to wrap up.
Absolutely. And we spoke about this briefly. I would say do not feel like you lost time because
Okay.
again, the people that are assigned to you, there are people that are assigned to you that you need to make impact with. They are still waiting. They're
Mm,
still waiting. So there is no lost time. You
yeah.
can be moved up into where you need to be immediately if you go ahead and take that leap of faith and move into your purpose. So, don't feel remorseful in the fact that you may feel like you lost time. Sometimes it does take people a little bit longer to get to their purpose and recognize their purpose and then become married to their purpose. So,
Married to your purpose? Can you
yes,
be married to your purpose? Can you?
yes,
You're using a word to describe it. So there has to be a
yes,
union,
yes,
between yourself and your purpose. Can you
yes.
just speak to that again? You said married to your purpose. Can you just explain it, in a bit of detail?
Absolutely. When you think about marriage, marriage is a partnership. There
Yeah.
is no, there used to be this idea of 50-50, and it's not. It's 100-100.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's 110 and 110.
Yeah.
But you have to be committed to that relationship. And it's the same thing with your purpose. Your purpose is calling to you. Your purpose is calling out to you. And so when you become married to your purpose, that is your destiny. You know that it is to death do us part.
Hmm.
It is a true relationship. You're going to nurture that purpose. You're going to really live within that purpose. And I
Hmm.
like to say this, Adegoke, you have to really be committed to your commitment. And that's
Hmm.
what marriage is. You're committed to your commitment.
Hmm. Wow. So purpose without commitment is, what do you what would you say purpose without commitment is? What would you describe that as?
No impact.
Yeah, because your purpose without commit that purpose is going to be tested.
Yes.
True
Yes.
or false? It's going to be
Absolutely.
tested.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah. Because and that's why showing up all the time. I mean, we've had this session. Uh, this is the 36th session of Leadership Talk with Adegoke. This is my purpose. I'm living it out, but it's been tested on several occasions. Sometimes I don't feel like even coming out. I just say, look, oh, let me just take a break, but my purpose keeps on calling me and say, look, you must have this podcast, and I want to, I want to celebrate you, you reach out to me, because I was walking in my purpose. Okay, why did you reach out to me? Why did you
Because
reach
I
out?
love leadership and I want to talk to people about leadership. And I
Yeah.
believe there needs to be this conversation, the dynamics of leadership and purpose. When I see someone talking about leadership, I want to have this conversation because it is so needed. It is absolutely so needed.
Hmm. Yeah. And so, I mean, because I don't want us to show up tonight and people just think, oh, we're just speaking because we just want to excite people. Because for you to walk in your purpose, you'll be tested. You'll be, your commitment to be tested. But when you show up, when you keep on showing up, someone out there will recognize the gifts of God upon your life. And we want also align with that purpose because you are walking in your purpose. That's why we're showing up tonight together. True or false?
True.
Yeah. But if you were not walking in your purpose, probably you were at the back in the back office. I wouldn't have met you. But thank you for showing up tonight. Thank you. And, let me just read some of the comments so that you know that people have really been showing up. There's a friend of mine who's also a John C. Maxwell coach, Odemi Olaiwale. He said, you make no impact when you are not committed to your purpose. Also, a John C. Maxwell coach, Mary Ellen Nadi from Abuja, is saying purpose without commitment, no impact. Mary Ellen Nadi also says that, be married to your purpose. You can see they're repeating what you said, and partnership. Be committed to that relationship. Awesome, awesome. I just want to share what another person said before we begin to wrap up. Uh, a gentleman, his name is Uchena, he said that leadership with purpose is important for success. Wow, wow, wow. Amazing. The nuggets keep on dropping, I mean,
Yes.
there's so many. And someone just said now, he said, your commitment to your purpose is what leads to your legacy. Now, um, two more questions. Now, what legacy, do you want to leave behind?
Absolutely. Adegoke, a lot of people want to leave a legacy of money, of material things, of finances and things like that. And I'm not against that. I do want to leave that. But more importantly, I want to leave a legacy of mindset.
Wow,
I want to leave a legacy of knowledge.
wow.
That is important to me.
Wow, wow, wow. A legacy of mindset, a legacy of knowledge. And I'm sure it's going to come to pass, because you're showing up at a time like this when a lot of people all over the world, they need something fresh. They need something very dynamic. And you're speaking to that on Leadership Talk with Adegoke. Just one more question. Who are your mentors? Because I can see that you're coming up with so many powerful nuggets. I mean, and I know this is not accidental. Who are your mentors?
My mentors are no name people right here in the city with me.
Yeah.
They have been leaders that I have gleaned from, and that I truly appreciate.
Okay.
So those are the leaders, and my mentors. They change. Honestly, they change
With
over
time.
time.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. We just want to say we're so thankful. For those who have just been on the platform for so long, just say thank you to Karina. Just say thank you. She would really appreciate that. I'm sure she's so happy that quite a number of you have stayed this long. Just say thank you to her. Someone just said a legacy of mindset and knowledge. So that's so amazing. So for those of you that have stayed this long, we just want to celebrate you. We really appreciate your followership. We just want to say that, okay, another John Maxwell coach. This is not a John Maxwell community, but it's most of my friends are from, all over the world. And Abiola Shoremekun, a good friend of mine, she's saying thank you. Another friend of mine from Florida who just got his PhD, Toluwaleke Famuyiwa. He lives in Florida. He says, thank you so much for showing up tonight. So on behalf of myself and Karina, I just want to say that it's been another wonderful session of Leadership Talk with Adegoke. Until same time next week, I look forward to seeing everyone. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Do you have something to say before you sign out?
I would just tell them, as I always say, go be great and be purposeful.
Wow, go be great and be purposeful. And I would like to say again, quote you, be married to your purpose. Be married to your purpose. Stay safe, stay blessed. Have a wonderful night, everyone. God bless you.